The alien marketplace buzzed with strange noises. Creatures of all shapes and sizes moved between stalls, trading goods from across the galaxy. Among them stood a lone human, ignored and mocked. "Look at the soft one," sneered a scaly merchant, his claws clicking as he pointed. "No claws, no armor, just weak flesh." The human, named Jack, ignored the laughter. He was used to it. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, seen as primitive and weak. But Jack had come to this planet for a reason, rumors of ancient technology hidden in the ruins beyond the city. As the sun dipped low, Jack slipped away from the marketplace. The desert stretched before him, vast and empty. His boots crunched on the dry ground as he walked toward the crumbling structures in the distance. Hours later, he stood before a massive stone door covered in strange carvings. Jack traced the symbols with his fingers. They glowed faintly under his touch. With a deep breath, he pushed the door open. Inside, the air was thick with dust. A single beam of light pierced the darkness, illuminating a figure standing in the center of the room, a suit of armor, tall and imposing, covered in intricate designs. Jack stepped closer. The armor hummed, as if waking from a long sleep. A voice echoed in his mind. "Bearer of flesh, do you seek power?" Jack hesitated only for a moment before answering. "Yes." The armor shuddered, then unfolded like liquid metal, wrapping itself around his body. Energy surged through him. His vision sharpened. His muscles felt stronger. Outside, the wind howled. Jack clenched his fists, feeling the power of the ancient armor coursing through him. The aliens had laughed at him. They wouldn't be laughing for long. The armor clung to Jack like a second skin, its weightless embrace humming with energy. He flexed his fingers, watching as the gauntlets shimmered in response. The voice in his mind spoke again. This vessel was forged in war. Its purpose, to fight. Jack took a deep breath. "Then let's fight." He turned and marched out of the ruins, the sand shifting beneath his armored boots. The wind howled, but he no longer felt its bite. The suit shielded him, its systems scanning the horizon. Back in the city, the marketplace was still alive with noise. The same scaly merchant who had mocked Jack earlier was now haggling with a group of armored aliens. Their laughter carried across the stalls. Then, silence fell. Heads turned as Jack stepped into the light. The once laughing aliens froze, their eyes widening at the sight of the ancient armor. The merchant's claws twitched nervously. "The weakling returns," he hissed, though his voice lacked its usual confidence. Jack didn't speak. He simply raised his arm. The armor's wrist plates shifted, revealing a glowing pulse of energy. With a thought, a blast of blue light shot forward, striking a nearby boulder, reducing it to dust. The marketplace erupted into chaos. Aliens scrambled back, some falling over in their haste. The merchant's scales paled. Jack lowered his arm. "Still think humans are weak?" No one answered. A towering alien clad in heavy battle gear stepped forward, his four eyes narrowing. "That armor, it belongs to the Krythar. Only the worthy can wield it." Jack met his gaze. "Guess I'm worthy." The alien bared his fangs, not in anger, but in challenge. "Prove it." The crowd parted as the warrior lunged, his massive fists swinging. Jack didn't flinch. The armor moved for him. The warship's shadow swallowed the marketplace. A deep, resonant hum vibrated through the ground as a beam of crimson light shot down from its underbelly. The crowd scattered in panic, all except Jack. The armor around him pulsed, not with fear, but recognition. "The Vathari," the armor's voice echoed. "They who forged me, and betrayed me." The light faded, revealing three figures clad in obsidian battleplate. Their helmets were angular, their movements synchronized like machines. The central figure raised a gauntlet hand, and the alien crowd froze mid-flight, as if gripped by an invisible force. "You," the lead Vathery's voice boomed, metallic and hollow. "You were the Titan's embrace. A relic not meant for your kind." Jack felt the armor tighten around him, its systems flaring. "Looks like it chose me anyway," he shot back. The Vathery tilted its head. "Then you will die with it." Without warning, the two flanking warriors moved, blurring across the square faster than any natural creature. Jack barely had time to react before a blade of crackling black energy slashed toward his throat. The armor saved him. His body twisted mid-air, the blade grazing his shoulder plating with a shower of sparks. Pain lanced through him, the first real pain he'd felt since donning the armor, but the suit sealed the damage instantly. The second attacker lunged from behind, but Jack's fist was already swinging. The impact sent the warrior crashing through a stone stall. The lead Vathery hadn't moved. "Impressive," it conceded. "But you are one. We are Legion." Above them, the warship's bay doors opened. Dozens, no, hundreds, of identical armored figures stood in perfect rows, their visors glowing the same eerie crimson. Jack's breath caught. Even with the armor, this was suicide. Then, a thunderous explosion rocked the far side of the ship. The Vathery snapped their heads upward as a squadron of battered but nimble fighters streaked across the sky, their wings marked with a familiar blue insignia. Human fighters. A voice crackled over Jack's suddenly active comms. "Unknown armored ally, this is Captain Reyes of the UEF Dauntless. Hold position, reinforcements inbound." The lead Vathery turned back to Jack, its visor flaring. "This changes nothing." Jack grinned behind his helmet. "Yeah," he said, flexing his fists as the armor's power surged anew. "It does." The sky turned to fire as human and Vathery ships clashed. Jack stood at the epicenter, the armor feeding him tactical data through neural pulses. The once mockful marketplace had become a war zone, alien merchants either fleeing or grabbing weapons to join the fray against their ancient oppressors. One of the downed Vathery warriors stirred at Jack's feet. With a thought, the armor's gauntlet formed a crackling energy blade. He pressed it to the warrior's throat. "Why do you want this armor back?" Jack demanded. The warrior's helmet retracted, revealing a face both alien and eerily human, pale skin, black veins, eyes without pupils. It smiled with needle teeth. "Not the armor, the soul inside it," it rasped. "The last of the old guard. The traitor." The armor reacted, plates shifting violently as the voice in Jack's mind roared. "Lies." A pulse of energy erupted from the suit, disintegrating the Vathery's head before Jack could react. He staggered back, horrified. "They corrupt. They consume," the armor growled, its usual calm shattered. "They are why my makers fell." Above them, a Vathery dropship broke through the dogfight, its belly opening to unleash a nightmare, a floating, fleshy mass with too many eyes, tendrils whipping like hungry snakes. The alien merchants screamed a word that needed no translation. "Reaper." Captain Reyes' voice crackled again. "All units, avoid direct contact with that thing. Intel says it can." The warning came too late. A human fighter grazed one of the tendrils. Instantly, the entire ship was engulfed, dissolving into the creature's biomass. Jack's armor shuddered with recognition. Their ultimate weapon. The flesh that remembers. The Reaper turned its countless eyes toward Jack. Toward the armor. And remembered. The sky turned to fire as human and Vathery ships clashed. Jack stood at the epicenter, the armor feeding him tactical data through neural pulses. The once mockful marketplace had become a war zone, alien merchants either fleeing or grabbing weapons to join the fray against their ancient oppressors. One of the downed Vathery warriors stirred at Jack's feet. With a thought, the armor's gauntlet formed a crackling energy blade. He pressed it to the warrior's throat. "Why do you want this armor back?" Jack demanded. The warrior's helmet retracted, revealing a face both alien and eerily human, pale skin, black veins, eyes without pupils. It smiled with needle teeth. Not the armor, the soul inside it, it rasped. The last of the old guard. The traitor. The armor reacted, plates shifting violently as the voice in Jack's mind roared. Lies. A pulse of energy erupted from the suit, disintegrating the Vathery's head before Jack could react. He staggered back, horrified. They corrupt. They consume, the armor growled, its usual calm shattered. They are why my makers fell. Above them, a Vathery dropship broke through the dogfight, its belly opening to unleash a nightmare, a floating, fleshy mass with too many eyes, tendrils whipping like hungry snakes. The alien merchants screamed a word that needed no translation. Reaper. Captain Reyes' voice crackled again, all units, avoid direct contact with that thing. Intel says it can. The warning came too late. A human fighter grazed one of the tendrils. Instantly, the entire ship was engulfed, dissolving into the creature's biomass. Jack's armor shuddered with recognition. Their ultimate weapon. The flesh that remembers. The Reaper turned its countless eyes toward Jack. Toward the armor. And remembered. The Reaper's shriek tore through the battlefield as it hurled itself toward Jack. The armor moved before he could think, propelling them sideways as a dozen barbed tendrils speared the ground where he'd stood. It knows me, the armor's voice hissed. And I know it. Jack's vision suddenly split. One moment he saw the raging battle. The next. A gleaming city of silver spires burning under a black sky. The same Reaper creature, smaller than, whispering to a figure in armor like his. A betrayal, a cry of rage, the armor being torn away as its wearer was imprisoned inside it. The vision shattered as a tendril grazed Jack's shoulder. White-hot pain erupted as the armor's plating repelled the contact with a burst of golden light. The Reaper recoiled, shrieking. Captain Reyes' fighters strafed the creature, buying precious seconds. Whatever you're doing down there, make it fast. Reyes shouted over comms. The armor's voice came strained, the Reaper was, my brother. We were the first. They corrupted him. Made him, this. Jack felt the armor's grief like his own. How do we stop it? Only the armor's core can purify him. But to activate it. The hesitation told Jack everything. It'll kill you. The real you. Above them, the Reaper regenerated from the bombardment, growing larger with each consumed scrap of metal and flesh. The armor's response was simple, I died centuries ago. Let me finish this. Jack clenched his fists. The right thing. The human thing. Then we do it together. The armor's core began to glow. The armor's core blazed like a miniature sun, casting long shadows across the ruined marketplace. Jack felt its ancient consciousness intertwining with his own, centuries of war and loneliness flooding his mind. Ready? The armor asked. Jack took one last look at the descending Reaper, at the human fighters making their desperate runs, at the terrified but defiant aliens who'd once mocked him. He nodded. The armor unfolded. Plates shifted as the chest emitter detonated in a silent golden wave. The Reaper froze mid-lunge, its countless eyes widening in something like recognition. The corruption staining its form began peeling away like burnt paper, revealing glimpses of the warrior it had once been. For a single, perfect moment. Two brothers stood on a silver battlefield, clasping forearms. A promise to protect their people. A farewell. Then the light consumed everything. When Jack's vision cleared, he was kneeling in a circle of scorched earth. The Reaper was gone. The Vathery forces were retreating to their ship. The armor. The armor was dead weight around him, its glow extinguished. Captain Reyes landed nearby, her helmet retracting to reveal a face smeared with grease and blood. Hell of a light show. What was that thing? Jack pried off the inert helmet, breathing real air for the first time in hours. A soldier, he said hoarsely. Just, a soldier. As the human and alien survivors gathered around him, something pinged on Reyes' scanner. She frowned at the readout. That warship's jumping to FTL, but it just sent a transmission toward the galactic core. The armor's last warning echoed in Jack's bones. They know we're here now. Reyes helped him stand. All around them, the aliens who'd once laughed at humans were watching Jack with something new in their eyes. Respect. Fear. Hope. One of the merchants stepped forward, the same scaly one who'd mocked him first. He placed a clawed hand over his chest in the universal gesture of fealty. The Vathari flee today, the merchant said. But they will return. Jack looked down at the lifeless armor, then at the stars where the enemy had vanished. He knew the truth now, about the war, about the armor's makers, about why it had chosen him. Let them come, he said. And for the first time in centuries, the galaxy trembled.